Hi, I'm Matt BOM and welcome back to BOM Tech, and in this video we're going to be doing a PC build. Now these components you see out in front of me, they came from two computers I got off my brother-in-law, my younger sister's brother-in-law, or my younger sister's brother-in-law thing. And some of the components came out of a custom built PC by a local computer company, and it was from a Aero cool case, a GT case, and most of the components here are actually from that case because they're the better components. But the other case was about an 8-year-old Alienware, big green beast of a case with lots of really old components. But there are some of the bits from that machine here too, like the card reader there, and actually, I think that might just be it. I might just put in the card reader in. I think this fan might have come from there too. But the rest of it actually was from that other PC because there wasn't much of good in the Alienware PC. Actually, no, this power supply was from the Alienware PC here. This 720 watt power supply is actually better than the one that was in the other custom built PC down there. I'm going to use the Aero cool case as well, the black case, because the Alienware case is old, awful and messy. And the Alienware PC was actually found. My brother-in-law actually found that PC stuffed somewhere behind a bin or something. So he took it and I took it to pieces and found what was good and what was not. Power supply was absolutely fine, as was the card reader, and I thought I'd stick that in this PC and put it all together. The other PC wasn't working either, so I've got the best bits out of that too, and I'm going to put it all together back in the Aero cool case, the black case, and all should be good. I probably won't be able to get much of an overclock out of it because all he's got, and all I've got for this build, is a stock cooler there. And the processor itself isn't an easily overclocked processor either, and the processor is down here, and it is an i5 4460, processor, and it's going in this motherboard here, which is the H81M motherboard. Not sure whether you can overclock that motherboard either. It's an ASRock motherboard, but we're going to have a look at that and see if we can increase the front side bus a bit and get some more power out of that processor. But we'll see what happens. That stock cooler isn't going to do such a good job of cooling the processor down if I do overclock it, but I might give it a little bit of a tweak and see what the temperatures are like. So I'm going to take you through all the bits that have been cleaned up already. They're all fine. Let me know in the comments below if you want to see me clean bits and pieces of computer parts. You've already seen in if you have watched one of my other videos for the Compute Cleaner, you saw me blowing out the black case and cleaning it up earlier with the Compute Cleaner air duster, which is awesome, by the way. And if you haven't seen that video, please look at that video. So yes, I'm going to take you through the build, and then I'm going to do some benchmarks at the end and see how well this PC will stand up to modern day games. It's running the 760 there, the GTX from Palit, so we'll see how that graphics card performs with this processor on that motherboard. In this build, he's using an optical drive as well, and 8 gig of DDR3 1600 meg RAM also, 600 megahertz RAM also. So going to be doing some benchmarking, but it's going to be 1080p benchmarking, just 1080, because this particular type of rig is kind of for 1080 gaming and not much else really. I mean, he is into audio, he does DJ, my brother-in-law, but there's not much here for that. He'll probably use it when he's DJing to maybe record some of his webcasts that he does, his podcasts that he does. But he might need some other equipment for that, maybe an audio interface or something along those lines. But this is a good start. It's a good basic PC, and it's free. It's free for him. The only thing that I'm going to have to talk to him about is Windows 10 and the cost of a product key for that. Okay, one thing I forgot to mention. You might notice things are slightly been moved around here. That's because they just fell over. They're kind of balancing on hard drives at the back here. One thing I did forget to mention was I've got a SATA 2 solid state drive there. That's going to be the primary OS hard drive, the system drive, and that's a 60 gig SATA 2 SSD, not a SATA 3. That was spare, and that's what I'm going to be giving him. And also he's got a 640 gig SATA 3 hard drive here. I think that's SATA 3 anyway. Yeah, put it all together, stick it in the black case, see how it goes. Okay, so PC is built. Had a couple of issues. The first one was I couldn't put the card reader in. There wasn't a 2.5-inch drive bay at the front I could use. I thought there was, but there actually wasn't. So I left the card reader out. The other issues that I had was cable management, running the cables round. There wasn't enough sort of slack on the cable. I had to kind of be imaginative and push the cables to the front and run them in different directions. Didn't have any extensions or anything like that, but as you probably saw, it ended up looking fine, and it is absolutely fine. Now, when I went to turn it on, it didn't power up. There was absolutely nothing at all. So what I did is I took all the cables off the motherboard, and then I took the motherboard out, took the heatsink off, took the processor out. There was a bit of fluff under the processor that I obviously didn't see when I was building it. Tiny, weeny bit of fluff that could have been stopping something or shorting something. Very strange. So I just blew that out, put the processor back on, I put the heatsink back on, and then powered the board out the unit with another power supply, and it worked. Good. So I put it all back together, powered it up, and it's now fine. So strange. Must have just been a bit of fluff getting in the way of something. Anyway, it's now working. It's now up and running. So as you can see, we're looking at the initial boot up screen, the BIOS screen here. We haven't actually gone into the BIOS yet, but we're going to now. I'm now using this lovely keyboard, which I will be doing a review on. I don't know whether the review will be out before this video or after this video. I'm not sure which way around I'm going to do it. But I bought this keyboard to do things like this for builds, because it's absolutely tiny and it's got a little mouse pad on it and a full keyboard, so it's useful when you haven't got much room, like me, haven't got much room here. So hopefully it's going to work fine. Okay, so all the drivers are loaded and I've loaded software as well, and I've configured the desktop as you can see. I've installed MSI Afterburner because we're going to overclock the graphics card, and I've installed Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Metro Last Light and Doom plus 3D Mark so we can do some benchmarking. So first and foremost we're going to overclock the graphics card. So we can't overclock the processor, it's a 4460 and it's just not overclockable, as you probably saw when we were in the BIOS earlier. You could take it up to 3.4 gig, but that's what the turbo's up to anyway, and you can't go any higher than that. That's it. That's it. So you're going to get 3.4 on turbo on that processor. So that's fine. So we'll overclock the graphics card and then we'll run some benchmarks and see how it performs at 1080p. It should be absolutely fine at 1080p. It should be quite a good machine for 1080p. Let's find out. Okay, well, as you can see, the PC performed okay at high settings in the benchmarks that we did, and the 3D Mark score was okay as well. Nothing amazing, but if you played at medium settings at 1080p, then I'm sure the frame rate would be above 60 frames per second the entire time, so not a bad computer. I think it will do fine for what my brother-in-law wants it for. He wants to play a bit of GTA 5. If he tones down the settings a bit, he'll probably be able to do that quite acceptably at 1080p. It's a bit disappointing really, the PC, but the 760 with only 2 gigabytes of memory isn't exactly the fastest card in the world, although the overclock that I got out of it was stable and was absolutely fine, but still slightly disappointing. But I suppose yeah, the processor not being able to overclock, you know, the 4460 is, yeah, disappointing as well. But overall, it works, it'll do what he needs it to do, so hopefully he'll be happy. So if you like this video, please leave a like, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, and I'll see you all a little bit later on. So, without further ado, let's build this PC. Whoa. before I knock it all over and kill the processor, let's build this PC and see.